So welcome everyone to Love on the Planets, and today we're looking at Jupiter in Scorpio through the different signs of the zodiac. And I'm Margaret Gray in Dublin.
And I'm Armand Diaz in New York.
So shall we say something briefly, I guess, first, Armand, about Jupiter in Scorpio and relationships, because it's quite a big shift, isn't it? And it's going to be there for the next 13 months. So it really has quite an influence. And Scorpio is such a deep sign, really, an intense sign, and also a very passionate sign. So what's your sense of how Jupiter generally is going to affect, the signs in the zodiac?
A strong drive for intimacy. I think that, we've had Jupiter actually going through Leo, where there's a more regal tone to things, Virgo, where service is emphasized, and Libra, where the veneer, the formal aspects of relationship are highlighted. But in Scorpio, now we're looking at intimacy. Now we're looking at that real connection, what's really there. And Jupiter gives us, Jupiter gives us a leap of faith. Jupiter gives us the ability to, open up. Scorpio is not the most open sign, but Jupiter gives us the ability to open up about the deep scorpionic issues and try to, find some deep connection.
What a great description. I love that. So really we're aiming it at anybody who has preferably their sun in the sign, but also consider it if your ascendant and your moon is in the sign. So shall we start with Aries? So for anybody with sun in Aries, technically it's not the most comfortable, because the energy of Aries is very direct in terms of direct action. It's much more upfront. But keeping in mind that both Scorpio and Aries are ruled by Mars, there is a connection there. So this might be a good time for anybody who's got sun in Aries, really to focus on protecting those you love. Because Aries loves the goal, so if it's got the goal of being protective, as well as, of course, passion, which Aries loves, that can certainly be, so there could be quite a lot of sexual passion woken up for Aries. Would you agree?
Very much so. Scorpio is the 8th house of Aries, and so definitely there could be a lot of sexual energy. Also, perhaps for some of us, a little bit of procreative energy.
Okay, good to know.
Taurus. This is the Scorpio is opposite Taurus, so it is the sign of partnership. It's the 7th house from Taurus. And I think that for Taurians who it's both a challenge and an opportunity. This is a go deeper in relationship, not necessarily hold on tighter, but to go deeper, to get into the real intimacies, the real connection, really approach things from a soul level.
The thing is that Taurus isn't always very happy to do that, is it? There's always this sense with Taurus of wanting to stay, on solid ground and not kind of go. And it's almost like they may feel at times like the ground is opening a little bit, like Persephone, dropping into the underworld. However, if Taurus maybe focuses on the sensuality aspect of it, the sexual aspect, that can be, that can really fit with the Taurian energy.
Very much so.
So Gemini may not be so comfy with this, really, because Gemini is such an intellectual sign, and it likes all this, world of ideas, of thoughts. It wants to keep on that realm of the mind. However, if maybe Gemini uses it as a time to kind of focus on learning more about, the person you're in relationship with, and also maybe to do some research on things like Tantra, maybe talk about it with a partner, so that energy can be used in a more intellectual way, even though it will pull, of course, down into the underworld, but there can be a lot of learning in it.
I think that's a really good strategy. I mean, Gemini likes to talk it out, if nothing else. So that's a good way to approach it. Just so the energies don't become overwhelming. I don't know that you can talk them away, but at least you can sort of reframe them a little bit. For Cancer, this is in the house of this becomes the house of passion, and it is also the house associated with children, although in a less procreative, regenerative way. But for Cancer, there's a lot of creativity and perhaps a little bit of the romantic and perhaps some of the dramatic side of things will be coming to the fore with Jupiter in Scorpio.
And also to remember that Cancer, of course, can always hide in its shell if it gets a little bit too much, so it's got a lot of skills, to kind of to deal with it, because it's such a sensitive sign, Cancer. So it might during this time also need a little bit of time alone to recuperate at times if it gets too much.
Yeah, I think that's a strong possibility. Yes.
So I should really let you address the Leo bit, shouldn't I, Armand?
Well, Leo and Aquarius, maybe we can take them together since they're on opposite sides. And Jupiter in Scorpio is going to be square to the Leo Aquarius axis, which puts it in Leo's 4th house of home and family and Aquarius's 10th house of career. And so I think maybe those are the areas where those signs are going to get the biggest kind of emphasis. I mean, feels like it's going to be more about home for Leo, more about career for Aquarius. But, I think that when it comes to relationships, there is, for Leo, there may be more of a sense of kind of, how close do we want to be? Do we want to move in together? Do we want to bring this to sort of a different level where we're enjoying each other on that home grounded level? For Aquarius, it could be that the emphasis goes the other way, and it's a little bit more out at work and in career, and who am I connecting with through that avenue.
And I think also there's something about the heart and honesty of the lion with the endurance and tenacity of the scorpion, which is really very, very powerful, passionate mix in relationships. So I think there's also that aspect of it.
Now, as much as Aquarius, with its more intellectual aspect, may feel more uncomfortable.
Yes, I think Aquarius is a little bit like Gemini, isn't it? If you can see it as a project to learn from, then it may feel less overwhelming, but it might need to literally open the windows and breathe a little because it might be a little too much. Virgo, so earthy Virgo, I don't think Virgo will be too ruffled by the depth of the scorpionic energy. It's probably likely to, of course, analyze what's going on. So it's a good time to analyze, what is this relationship about? Where is it going? Where do I want it to go? And also, how can I improve, things like passion, like intimacy in a relationship. Virgo may not like too much the emotional messiness that can come with Scorpio. But, if it sees that there's a good result to it, and if it can do something practical about it, then, it might really enjoy it.
Well, again, Jupiter tends to make things more palatable. It seems more doable. Now, Libra is going to have a little bit of a challenge. There's a lot we could say about Libra if we weren't focused on relationship. It could be very good for finances, for example, for Libra. But when it comes to relationship, that kind of maintain balance, and Libra, you've just had Jupiter in your sign, and you've taken all the advantage out of that, and now he's moving on to the next one. So it's a little bit like your favorite uncle has left the house.
Yeah, I think Libra might have to take a lot of deep breaths with Jupiter in Scorpio, because I think it's not that comfortable being pulled into that scorpionic cauldron, when it's trying to kind of find, that balance, as you say. Now, Scorpio, well, it's in its own sign. So there's going to be a huge expansion in that scorpionic energy. So there's quite a lot of potential. It really gives, I think, anybody with strong Scorpio, the potential to really reinforce that side of oneself, which can be very, very powerful and very empowering in relationships.
Yeah, I think empowered when it comes. I mean, Jupiter in Scorpio is just good for Scorpio pretty much across the board. Just to mention, too, that people that do have placements in like a sun in Libra may have some planets in Scorpio. So that could be a help, too. But Scorpio does feel the energy most directly for everything. But yes, it is empowering. And so in terms of relationship, this is something that is, but and it's Jupiter, it feels good. So it's, yeah, I'm kind of right about things when it comes to my approach.
Yes, and I think it's the opportunity for the kind of intimacy that Scorpio really craves, the emotional intimacy. So, Sagittarius. Well, Sagittarius, I think because it's a sign next to Scorpio, sometimes when signs are next to each other, they almost don't see something coming. So it can kind of suddenly appear to kind of come from the side. And, with the Sag planets, there might be kind of, oh, that's kind of a little unexpected. But, Sag loves to find out the reason why for everything and to learn. So this is a great learning opportunity, pretty similar as to the air signs. And I think if it enjoys that and sees it as, an enjoyable journey of finding out what is the potential in our relationship, then I think that could be quite enjoyable.
Sure, and don't forget, Jupiter is Sagittarius' ruler. So, Sagittarius are going to be, they have a little bit of a scorpionic experience this year in general. So, it's their ruler is going through this sign. They have a real intimate connection with it that, let's say, Libras don't. It's also the 12th house from Sagittarius. So there could be some unexpected things coming up, and unexpected sex, and Sagittarius may be able to handle that.
Absolutely. So what do you think about Capricorn?
Well, it's an easy energy for Capricorn. And actually with Pluto in the sign of Capricorn, that's Scorpio's ruler, there's this kind of, able to work things out. I think that Capricorns have been dealing with the Plutonian depths or the Scorpionic depths for a while. And I think Jupiter may actually come as something of a relief. I think in other areas of life, it's going to be more prominent. But for relationship, I think that it is, one of being able to, be true to yourself, be true to who you are, be true to the truth, at least the truth as you see it. And that's what Pluto and Capricorn has been doing for that sign for a while anyway. So I think it's nothing but a help for Capricorn.
And Capricorn really values integrity, so it's likely to really respond well to that. And then we come to Pisces, of course, the last sign, because we've already looked at Aquarius. And I think this is an interesting one because, there's a sense of kind of boundaryless, that's the wrong word, but lack of boundaries with Pisces, that sense of infinity, which might struggle a little bit with the single-minded focus of Scorpio, which is so directed to the truth. So I think Pisces may feel a little vulnerable, maybe a little exposed, and, might try and kind of meander, but they are both water signs. So in relationships, it might really, the Piscean compassion together with the Scorpionic depth could really be pretty powerful in relationships.
And it's Jupiter, and it is the 9th house for Pisces. So there could be a sense of exploration, too, in terms of the depth, whether it would be a different kind of person, a different culture, or simply someone with a very different viewpoint. And maybe some of the intimacy comes from, there being a charge that you get with difference. Sometimes you get that extra charge with difference. And so, you're really learning about something that you're not familiar with. And at the same time, they are both water signs. So yes, there is that there's the emotional connection where on other levels, there's a lot of differences. It could be really be kind of an exciting time for Pisces, I think.
One of the things as well that might be a good time is to kind of face any addictions, maybe including codependency in relationship, as well as, other addictions that might impact relationships. So it might be that this could be a kind of wake up call for any of those issues, which of course is always beneficial in relationships.
And of course, a good strategy for any sign is to look back 12 years ago to 2005, 2006 and see what was happening when Jupiter was there, or 1993, 1994. And you just keep going back in multiples of 12. It won't be the same, of course. It'll be different, but it gives you a little sense of the flavor.
And don't forget to look at our website where we've got a blog on Jupiter and Scorpio.
That's right. As a matter of fact, I wrote it, so I'm really endorsing.
Absolutely. And it's a great blog. So see you soon, Armand.
Bye bye, Margaret.
Bye-bye.